Welcome to day 9. So it is the weekend, so we're having a little bit of a longer class today. It's just under an hour, but we're going to be working through a ladder flow. So this ladder flow is going to build some heat. It's an energy builder. And if you've never done a ladder flow before, what it is we start off with one pose and then we keep repeating and we add a pose and add a pose and add a pose. So then eventually we'll have this nice long sequence and we'll be really flowing together and feeling really great. So I'll meet you back on the mat and I hope you enjoy. So we're going to start in child's pose. So we'll take ourselves down to our mats, take our knees just a little bit out wide, and then start to bring our arms out in front. And then giving ourselves this time, feeling the ground underneath, closing our eyes. And then just starting to focus on the breath. Slowing everything down. Breath can come in and out through the nose. Taking your time. And just while you're here and you're just focusing on that breath, we're going to be going through something called a ladder flow tonight's class. So we'll get ourselves nice and warmed up to start with, and then we'll begin a ladder flow more in the middle, which is basically where we just start with one pose and then we keep adding on a pose until we get through into a nice long sequence. It can be really nice because you find that repetitive nature of the class and you feel a little bit more connected with it. It's just for you to know where we're going, have a little set an intention for yourself, feel more connected with the movements. Now, with those eyes closed, closing the mouth, we'll take a big breath in through the nose, filling the lungs, even lift the body slightly off. And then exhaling, melting the body a little bit closer towards the mat, out through the nose. And again, inhaling and exhaling. This time we inhale, we're going to rock forwards. We're going to come into a tabletop position. Bring the knees underneath the hips. Hands under the shoulders, fingers spread, just gently rocking forwards and backwards, warming up those wrists, just moving nice and slow to start with. Inhale as we come forwards, exhale as we go back. And then coming back to that neutral tabletop position, moving through our cat-cows. As we inhale, we drop the belly down, lifting the chest, lifting the chin. And then as we exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the chin and tucking the tailbone. And again, inhale, scoop the belly down, lift the chest, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling, rounding the back. Really finding space between the shoulder blades. And one more time, inhale, scoop the belly down, lift the chest. Exhaling, rounding the back. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes underneath, press through the hands and the feet, lift the hips up nice and high, finding our downward facing dog. Little bend in the legs to start with. And really feel like we're pressing the mat away with our hands, almost like we want to split the mat in half with our hands and our feet. You're going to lift those hips a little higher, lengthening out the spine. Making sure we're not hunched up in our shoulders, but they're rolling down the back. So you've got lots of space for your neck. You can shake your head side to side. And then from here, just gently walking through the feet, drawing one heel down at a time, stretching out through the backs of the legs, stretching through those toes. And then bringing those feet back to that neutral position, hip distance apart. From here, we're going to inhale, come up onto our toes, lift our heels. Stretch through those toes. And then exhale, draw the heels down a little bit closer towards the mat. And again, inhale, come up onto the toes, lift the heels. Exhale, draw the heels down. And again, inhale up onto the toes. Exhale, draw the heels down. This time we inhale, come up onto the toes, then keep rocking forwards, coming all the way through into our high plank position. Squeeze the core as we get there, shoulders over the wrists. And then exhale, take the hips up and back, downward dog. Really linking that breath with the movement. Inhale, rocking forwards, almost rippling through the spine, finding our high plank position. Squeeze the core. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last time, inhale, rocking forwards, high plank. This time we're going to exhale, chaturanga. So shifting forwards even more so the shoulders come past the wrists. Lower the knees down for this first one as we take the elbows back in line with the body, strong core. And then all the way onto the belly, untucking the toes. Taking the hands just a little bit out wide, more towards the sides of the mat. We're going to inhale, use our lower back to start to lift our chest and drawing those shoulders down the back, having space for that neck. And then exhale, lowering back down to the belly, chin towards the mat. We go again, inhale, gentle pressure in the hands, lift the chest. Exhale, lower back down. Slow movements, moving with the breath. Inhale, lifting. And exhale, lowering down. Tucking the toes under, plant the hands under the shoulders, and pushing back to our downward facing dog, hips nice and high. And once again, we walk through the feet, drawing one heel down at a time. And then slowly making your way up towards the top of the mat, walking the feet all the way up, meeting in a forward fold. Feet hip distance apart, little bend in the legs. And then swaying side to side, releasing that back, release the neck. Inhale, you can find a little bit of a lift. Exhale, dropping down a little heavier over the legs. And then our next inhale, slowly rolling up to standing. Rolling through the spine. Head comes up last, then we roll the shoulders up towards the ears, down the back, palms facing forwards, finding our mountain pose, our Tadasana pose. I want you to tuck the pelvis underneath, so squeezing the glutes, feet planted firmly into the ground, shoulders rolling back, crown of the head reaching up. Inhale here, filling the lungs up. And exhale out the mouth. From here, looking down towards the feet, just toe heel the feet together. So the toes touch the heels slightly apart. We inhale, lift the arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, forward fold down. Inhale, we're going to slide the hands up the shins, creating this flat back, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, forward fold once again. You can take a hold of the backs of the legs, drawing yourself down. And again, inhale, rolling up to standing. Bring the arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, bring the palms together at the chest. We're going to find 3 sun salutations. We inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, finding this flat back. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back to our high plank position once again, strong core. Exhale, we chaturanga, shift forwards first, lower the knee or one knee, or keep them lifted as we lower down halfway. To the belly or flipping onto the tops of the feet, straightening the arms, finding upward facing dog, the legs and the hips are lifted. And then exhale, everyone taking the hips up and back, finding our downward facing dog. Checking in with your downward dog, making sure you're not rounding in your back, but those hips are nice and high. You can have a little bend in the legs, heels drawing down, hands pressing the mat away. One more breath here, inhale. Exhale, we bend the knees, look between the hands. You can step, walk or hop the feet towards the top of the mat, toes together. Inhale, we halfway lift, find that flat back. Exhale as we forward fold, drawing yourself down. Inhaling, rolling up to standing as the arms come up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, palms at the chest. We go again. Inhale, lift the arms. Building heat, finding this movement. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands. Now you can step or maybe try a little hop back, landing with bent elbows, our chaturanga, strong core. To the belly for cobra or upward facing dog. Either way, shoulders roll back. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. And if you want to find child's pose at any time, you can do. Just checking in with your downward dog, feet hip distance apart, fingers spread, making sure we're not hunched up in our shoulders, they're rolling down back. One more breath here in our downward dog. As we exhale, we bend the knees to prepare, look between the hands, you can step, walk or hop. Toes together at the top of the mat, we inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale as we forward fold, drawing ourselves down. Then inhale as we roll up to standing, arms come up overhead. Exhale, bringing the palms to the chest. Last round, inhale, lift the arms. Exhaling, forward fold down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, make our way back through our vinyasa. Stepping or hopping back, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, shoulders back. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling here. And exhale to stay. Taking your last inhale in downward dog. Exhale as we bend the knees, look between the hands, step, walk or hop. Feet together, we inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, rolling up to standing, bring the arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, palms at the chest. Nice. Taking the feet out wide, we're coming down into our yoga squat. So take those feet just a little bit, those toes, turning them out a little bit, and then start to bend into the legs. Those knees drawing out wide and taking the hips down towards the heels. Making sure that the heels don't start to lift off the mat. If they do, we can just come up a little bit higher or take those feet a little bit wider. Finding this nice hip opener, we draw those knees out wide. We lengthen the back up, so reaching the crown of the head up tall. Inhaling here. And exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. From here, taking the hands just behind us and slowly lowering all the way onto our backs. Just working into that core just a little bit here. We're going to start to bring the knees into the chest and extend just the right leg up towards the ceiling, and then we let the left leg go out long towards the top of the mat. Now to make it a little easier here, you can let that left foot come all the way down towards the ground, or you can keep it lifted just a couple of inches off the mat. From here, we interlace our hands together and then release the index finger. So we've got this little pointer, and we're going to take it towards the outside of that right leg.
So it's reaching on the outside of that right thigh. And we're going to go for 20 little pulses. Exhale as we crunch forwards. We go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, halfway, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Coming all the way back, bring both knees in, give a little squeeze, a little rock side to side before we go through the other side. Big breath in and exhale. And then from here we extend the left leg up and then let that right leg go out long. Again, you can either bring it down towards the ground or you can hover it just above the mat. Interlace the hands again, release the index fingers, and then taking them over towards that left hand side, so over the thigh. 20 pulses. We go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Bringing the knees in, a little squeeze, gentle rock side to side. Take a big breath, inhale, and exhale. And again, inhaling, and exhaling. Now from here, we're going to rock up and down the spine, really rounding that back, rocking up and down. Now from here, a little different. While we're still rocking, I'll just tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come all the way through into a vinyasa, so finding ourselves into our high plank and then our chaturanga. So either stepping back or you can do a little hop back. The next time we come forwards, we cross over at the ankles, roll over the shins, plant the hands in front. Either step back or hop the feet back, landing through our chaturanga. Then we inhale to our back bend. Feel that release, stretching out through the core. And then exhale, we take the hips up and back, landing our downward facing dog. Just here, bringing the knees down. Find our child's pose briefly. This is where we're going to start. Well, we're going to start in downward dog, but we're just giving ourselves this time, feeling a bit more connected with the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. So when you're ready, planting the hands in front, we tuck the toes under, lift those hips up nice and high, find our downward dog. So our downward dog is going to be our starting point for our ladder flow. So from here we do one pose on each leg and then we keep adding on from there. So here we go, we inhale, lift the right leg up. And as we exhale, we step that foot as close as we can between those hands. Setting up for our high lunge, just make sure that those feet aren't in line with each other, but they're a little bit further apart so you've got that stability. Then we inhale, stand up, lifting the arms up, finding our high lunge, bending into the front leg, that back heel drawing behind us. Inhale. And then we exhale, bringing the hands down, frame the foot, and step that foot all the way back to our downward dog for the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, stepping that foot through. Strong foundation in those feet as we inhale, lift up, finding our high lunge other side. Bending into that front leg, that back heel drawing behind us. Inhale, we lift. And exhale, hands come down, stepping back, downward facing dog. So we add on from now. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, we're going to bend the knee and open up that hip. So that right knee drawing up towards the ceiling, stacking the hips on top of one another, feeling that stretch of that front hip flexor. Inhale here. And then exhale, we take that foot and we bring it all the way through in front, setting up for our high lunge. Inhale, lifting up, finding our high lunge. And then as we exhale, hands come down, stepping back, downward facing dog. Seeing how it works. We inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open up that hip once again. That knee pointing up, stacking the hips on top of one another, making sure that that left shoulder isn't lifting, but the left shoulder's drawing down. So the shoulders are square, but the hips are stacked. Inhale here. And then exhale, stepping that foot through, setting up for a high lunge. We inhale, stand up nice and tall. And then we exhale, bring the hands down, stepping back, downward facing dog. We keep going. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, we bend the knee, open up that hip once again, find that stretch. And then stepping that foot through all the way between the hands, coming through into our high lunge. Inhale, lifting up, high lunge. And then as we exhale, we're going to drop that back heel down and open up into our warrior two. Warrior two, that front knee is rotating outwards and that back foot, the edge of the back foot is pushing down into the mat. So you've really got that strong stability in our feet and our legs. Arms open wide, taking the gaze over that front hand. Inhaling here. And then as we exhale, we're going to windmill the hands down to frame the front foot and stepping all the way back to our downward facing dog. Ready for the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open up that hip. Shoulders square, hips are open. And then stepping that foot through all the way between the hands. Coming up, inhale, we lift up, strong through the legs, high lunge, lift the arms. Exhale, warrior two, drop the back heel down, opening the arms, taking that gaze over that front hand. Making sure that that knee is not falling in, but it's actively pressing out, and that back foot pressing down into the mat. Inhaling here. And then exhale, windmill the hands down to frame the foot. Step all the way back, downward facing dog. We keep going. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open up that hip. And then inhaling here, lifting the knee. As we exhale, we bring that foot all the way through, setting up for a high lunge. Strong through those feet. We inhale, stand up nice and tall, lifting the arms. As we exhale, drop the back heel, open up, warrior two. Adding on from here, we're going to flip that front palm, reverse the warrior, reach that arm all the way up and back. Bending into the front leg. We're not finding too much of a side bend, but we want to find that lift up and back, like a big rainbow. And that back hand can just gently rest on that back leg. Inhaling here. And then as we exhale, coming all the way down, framing the front foot with our hands, stepping back, downward dog. Other side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhaling here, finding that stretch of that hip flexor. And then exhale, stepping that foot through. We inhale, stand up tall, lifting up, high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel down, open up, warrior two. Bending into the that front leg. Flip the front palm, we reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. Again, thinking about that big rainbow motion, so it goes up and then towards the back of the mat, bending into the front leg, that back hand gently resting on that back leg. Inhale here, reaching, and then exhale, we windmill the hands down to frame the front foot, stepping back, downward facing dog. We're going to have a little rest here, walk through the feet. Big breath, inhale. And exhale. If you want to take child's pose at any time, you can do. From here, we're going to carry on. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhaling here. As we exhale, stepping that foot all the way through towards the top of the mat, strong through the legs. We inhale, standing up, finding our high lunge, lifting. Exhale, drop the back heel down, open up, warrior two. From here, we flip the front palm, reverse the warrior, reach it all the way up and back. From here, we're going to add on. We're going to start to bend into that back leg. We start to straighten the front leg, and we bend all the way back down into that back leg. So that back foot is going to turn slightly out 45 degrees. We may just stay here. We're coming into Skandasana, or we can bring the hips down a little bit lower. Taking those hips down towards that heel. If you want to come down low, but we don't quite have that flexibility in the backs of the legs, you can come up onto the toes to lift that heel up. So finding our Skandasana, we want to make sure that those toes are flexed and they're lifting up towards the ceiling, so that knee is rolling out and lifting up, and that back knee, so that left knee is drawing out wide. We can either bring our palms together at our chest, sinking into the hips, lengthening up the spine, or you can have your hands down towards the mat. Inhaling here, and exhale. From here, looking towards the front of the mat, to come out, we're just slowly going to walk the feet, straightening the legs, and framing that front foot with our hands to step that front foot all the way back to our downward facing dog. We're going through that on the other side. We inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Feeling a little bit more familiar with the flow now. Inhale. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Strong through the legs. We inhale, lift up, finding our high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel, open up. Warrior two, bending into that front leg. Flip the palm, reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. Finding that side body stretch. Then from here, coming into the Skandasana on the other side. So look towards that back foot. Start to turn the toes out just slightly towards the back of the mat. Bending nice and deep into the back leg as we straighten the front leg. You can bring the hands down, sinking the hips down. Making sure that we're opening up through our hips now, so that back knee drawing out wide. And then that foot, that flexed foot, the toes are pointing up and that knee is rotating outwards. Again, you can either bring your palms together at your chest, lengthening out the spine, or you can keep the arms out in front. Inhaling here, exhale to stay. To come out, we look towards the top of the mat and just slowly start to straighten that back leg, and then walking the hands all the way toward the top of the mat to frame the front foot. And we step all the way back to our downward facing dog. Just walking through the feet a little bit, ready for the next pose, adding on. We inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhaling here, lifting that knee a little higher. And then exhale, stepping that foot through as close as we can between those hands, strong through the legs. We inhale, stand up, finding our high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel down, open up, warrior two. Reverse it, flip the front palm first, reach it all the way up and back. Big side body stretch, bending into the front leg. Coming into that Skandasana, slow transition. We start to straighten the front leg as we bend the back leg and shifting that weight back. Coming all the way down, you can either lift the heel if you want to or keep it planted. Staying here, letting that knee draw out wide, that front knee, so that straight leg is rolling out towards the side as well. Inhaling here, lift the chest. Exhale to stay. Now adding on from here is a little bit of a power move. We're going to come back to our reverse warrior. So what we want to do is we want to power up through this back leg, so straightening out through this back leg and start to bend into this front one. So to start with, we push nice and hard with this back foot, start to straighten the leg to stand all the way back up. As we bend into the front leg now, So we've got our warrior 2 legs, and we bring that arm all the way up and back. Reverse it. Might feel a little weird this first round. As we keep repeating, you'll get a little bit more in touch with this. Inhaling here. And then as we exhale, we windmill the hands down to frame the front foot and step all the way back, downward dog. Ready for the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhaling here. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Strong through the legs. We inhale, stand up, high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel, open up, warrior 2. Flip the front palm, reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. Inhaling here. Slow transition into our Skandasana. We start to straighten the front leg as we bend into that back leg nice and deep, turning the toes out, sinking the hips down. Making sure that those toes, that straight leg, the toes are rolling up, opening through the hips. Inhale and exhale. Now coming back to that reverse warrior, we stand up nice and strong through this back leg. Big power up. Inhale, standing up. Bend into the front leg as we let that front arm come all the way up and back. Reverse the warrior. Inhaling here. As we exhale, we windmill the hands down to frame the front foot and step straight back. Downward dog, just gently walking through the feet. Ready to add on to this ladder. Next rung. We inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhaling here. Exhale as we step that foot all the way towards the top of the mat. Strong through the legs. Inhale, standing up, high lunge. We know where we're going. Exhale, drop the back heel, open up. Warrior 2, sinking down. Flip the front palm, reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. Keeping this flow, Skandasana, bending into the back leg, straightening the front leg as we shift the weight back. Sinking down. Not staying here for too long, coming back to our reverse warrior. We inhale, power up to shift the weight up and forwards, and then bringing that front arm all the way up and back. Lovely. Reverse the warrior. Adding on from here, we start to straighten the front leg, bringing that torso all the way back up through center and finding our triangle pose. So pushing those hips forwards first and then start to reach that front hand towards the front of the mat. Finding that space and then start to bring the arm down on the inside of that leg. The top arm comes up towards the ceiling. So opening the arms, making sure that our top shoulder's not rolling down. If it is, just slide up a little bit higher up that leg. And making sure the butt's not sticking out, but we squeeze the glutes to push those hips forwards so we're staying in one whole plane. Inhale here. Bending into the front leg, lift back up to warrior 2. And then coming all the way back down to frame that front foot. Stepping back, downward dog. Nice. Now other side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Inhaling here. Exhale, step the foot through between the hands. Strong through the legs. We inhale, stand up tall, finding our high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel, open up, warrior 2. Continuous movement, flip the front palm, reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. Inhale. Exhale, Skandasana, start to straighten the front leg as we bend into the back leg, shifting the weight back and down, sinking nice and low towards the mat. Powering back up to our reverse warrior, we inhale, push through the back leg, standing up, shifting forwards, and bringing that front arm all the way up and back. Reverse the warrior. Adding on, we start to straighten the front leg, and then we reach that front hand all the way forwards towards the top of the room, pushing those hips forwards, and then bringing that hand down as we open the arms up, Finding our triangle pose. Again, just checking in that your shoulder's not rolling down, the butt's not sticking out, but everything is staying in one whole plane, like you're in between two glass panels. Really need to stay in one whole line. And then bending into the front leg to lift up into our warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the hands down, frame the foot, stepping back, downward dog. This flow is getting a little longer now. We can start to walk through the feet just a little bit. Want to take a little rest, bring the knees down, find our child's pose briefly. A little wiggle side to side. If you want to stay here in child's pose a little longer, you can do, and just join us when you're ready. If you're ready for the next pose, we come back to our downward dog, lift the hips up and back. From here we inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Now from here we're going to come into a wild thing. So we shift forwards first, so the shoulders come over the wrists, and then let that foot fall all the way down towards the mat or towards the ground. Toes touching. Push the hips up towards the ceiling as we open the chest towards the ceiling. Inhaling here, pushing the hips up. Exhale, look down towards the mat to plant the hand, lifting that leg all the way up and back. Inhale. Exhale, bringing that foot through between the hands, setting up for our high lunge. Inhale, standing up. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Flip the palm, reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. Inhale. Exhale, Skandasana. Bending into the back leg, shifting the weight all the way back and down, sinking into those hips. We may not want to come down so low. And then we inhale, standing back up, reverse the warrior. Bending into the front leg as we reach that arm all the way up and back. Triangle pose, we straighten the front leg first, and then shifting that hand all the way towards the front of the room, and then bring the hand down, open the arms. Checking in, making sure we're staying in one whole plane. We're going to do another add-on from now. We look down towards the mat, bring that top hand onto that hip, and start to bend into that front leg. I want you to reach that right hand towards the top right-hand corner of the mat, and take a little hop in with that back foot. So coming through into our half moon, starting to shift the weight forward into that front foot and that front hand, and we slowly start to float that back leg up. But the hips are open, so that left hip is stacking on top of the right hip. That floating foot is flexed, the heel drawing towards the back of the mat or the back of the room. You can stay here, or you can lift that left arm up, opening the chest. Inhaling here. And as we exhale, slowly bend into that front leg, stepping the back foot back as we inhale, lift up, warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands down to frame the front foot, stepping back, downward dog. Other side, inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. We wild thing, shift the weight forwards first. Let that foot fall all the way behind as toes touch down as we lift the hips up and open the chest towards the ceiling. Inhaling here. Exhale, look back down towards the mat to plant the hand. Flipping all the way back, lift that leg all the way up and back, three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, stepping that foot through towards the top of the mat. Now we know where we're going. Inhale, lifting up, high lunge, lift the arms. Exhale, drop the back heel, open up, warrior two. Continuous movement, flipping the front palm, reverse the warrior. Inhaling here. Exhale, Skandasana, shifting the weight back, bending into that back leg. Nice and deep, sinking down. As soon as we get there, we power back up, straightening into that back leg, lifting up, taking that front arm all the way up and back. Reverse the warrior once again. Triangle pose, we straighten the front leg and start to reach that front hand all the way towards the top of the the room, and then bringing that hand down, opening the arms, finding our triangle pose, squeezing the glutes, pushing those hips forwards, rolling that shoulder back. Adding on, coming into our half moon, looking down towards the mat, bending into that front leg to reach that left hand towards the top left hand corner. You can bring that top hand onto that hip as we hop that back foot in a little closer. That's just going to take more of that weight into that front foot. Looking forward, starting to shift the weight forwards, taking the weight into that hand and that front foot as we float the back leg up, stacking the hips so they're open towards the right. That floating foot is flexed, so the heel is drawing towards the back of the room, activating all the muscles in the leg, and you can lift that arm up towards the ceiling, rolling the shoulder back. Inhaling here, exhale to stay. Bending into the front leg nice and deep to step the back foot back. As we inhale, lift up, warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands down to frame the foot, stepping back, downward dog. Just walking through the feet. Now this is the last pose. So this is the last time we're going through this flow. So the last pose now, top of the ladder. So when you're ready, we inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip, and we flip the dog to wild thing. Shifting forwards first, let that foot fall all the way behind, toes touch. Inhale, push the hips up, open the chest. Inhaling here, filling the lungs. Exhale, look back down, planting the hand, taking that leg all the way up and back. Inhale. Exhale, step the foot through. Continuous movements now. Inhale, lift the arms high, lunge, nice and slow. Exhale, drop the back heel, warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse it. Inhale, reach it up and back. Exhale, bending into that back leg, sinking the hips towards the back of the mat. Skandasana. As soon as we get there, we power back up. Inhale, push through that back leg, lifting back up. Reverse the warrior, reach that arm up and back. Then straightening the front leg, starting to reach that right arm towards the front of the room and bringing it down, finding our triangle pose, opening the chest towards the left. Inhale. As we exhale, look down towards the mat, bend into that front leg. You can bring that top hand onto your hip or you can keep it lifted as you start to reach that right hand towards the top of the mat, hopping that back foot in or floating it straight up into our half moon. Opening the chest, those hips are stacked, that foot is flexed. Inhaling here. Exhale to stay. Working with that balance now. That floating leg, the muscles are all active. Last pose now, we look down towards the mat, bringing that top hand down as well as we start to square the hips now. So notice how that leg might come down a little bit lower. The hips are now square, so those inner thighs squeezing together. Hands underneath the shoulders, you can come onto your fingertips as we inhale, find a halfway lift. And then as we exhale, we find a standing split. So just forward folding over that straight leg, trying to get that nose towards the knee. That leg may lift a little bit higher, but maybe not too much. Inhale. And exhale. And then slowly bending into that front leg to let those toes touch down. Plant the hands down and stepping back to our downward dog. Nice. So last time now, last side. We inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, open up the hip. Flipping the dog, shift forwards, let that foot fall all the way behind. As we inhale, lift the hips, open the chest, wild thing. Little back bend here, inhale. Exhale, look back down to plant that hand, flipping back. Three-legged dog, inhale. And then exhale, stepping that foot through as close as we can between those hands. Continuous movements now. We inhale, standing up, finding our high lunge. Exhale, opening up, warrior two, sinking into the legs. Flip the front palm, reverse it, reach it all the way up and back. As we exhale, bending into the back leg, shifting that weight down towards the back of the mat. Powering back up, inhale, push through that back leg, lifting all the way up to our reverse the warrior, reach it up and back. Straightening the front leg now, slow transition, coming all the way forwards to our triangle pose. Arm comes down the inside of that leg as we open the arms up, squeezing the glutes, staying in that one plane. Looking down towards the top of the mat, bending into that front leg to reach that left hand out in front. Again, you can bring that top hand onto that hip or you can keep it lifted. Hopping that back foot in, or you can step straight up, floating that back leg up, coming into our half moon, stacking the hips, opening the chest. Again, activating all the muscles in that floating leg will help with balance. Inhaling here, exhale to stay. So last pose, looking down towards the mat, bringing that hand down as we square the hips now, squeezing the inner thighs together. Hands under the shoulders, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, standing splits. Forward folding over that front leg. That floating foot might come a little higher. And then slowly bending into that front leg nice and deep to step the back toes back. Plant the hands down and stepping straight back. Downward dog. Walking through the feet. And then everyone bring the knees down, untuck the toes, and take ourselves back to our well-deserved child's pose. Taking a big breath in now. And exhale, release. You might want to take the knees a little bit wider. Sinking those hips down, little wiggle side to side. And slowly walking the hands up underneath the shoulders towards the knees, rolling onto the outside of that hip to bring the legs out in front. Let those legs go out in front, finding a forward fold now. So just pulling all that lovely fleshy bit from underneath so we're really sat on our sit bones. You can flex the feet here as we inhale, reach the arms up. And then as we exhale, we're going to forward fold. But think about keeping that back nice and straight as we're reaching those arms almost past the feet. And then trying to take a hold of what we can, our legs, our ankles, our feet. And slowly starting to draw ourselves down, deepening into this forward fold. Nice long breaths, breathing into the stretch, inhale. And exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. Just a couple more now. Big breath in. And exhale. And next inhale, slowly rolling up. Taking a hold of the backs of the knees as we bring those knees up, plant the feet out, making sure they're hip distance apart, and then just scooching the hips towards the heels and rolling all the way down onto our backs. Finding this nice gentle back bend, a bridge at the end of the class, making sure that you can tickle the heels with your fingertips. Feet firmly planted as we inhale, press through the feet, lifting those hip bones up. Make sure the knees don't fall out wide, but they're squeezing together. You can roll the shoulder blades underneath, pressing the backs of the arms down into the mat, Lift those hips a little bit higher. Eyes closed. Keeping that neck long and protected. Don't turn the head from side to side. Inhale here, maybe lift the hips a little higher. Exhale, stay. This next inhale, come up onto the toes. And then as you exhale, slowly roll down the back. Nice and slowly. The hips come down last. And as you get there, just slowly take those knees side to side, releasing the lower back. Next time the knees come through center, you can stop and bring both knees into the chest to squeeze it in. Finding a little bit of a hip stretch coming into our happy baby pose. We take the arms on the insides of the legs and take a hold of the ankles or maybe the outsides of the feet, flexing the feet. As those knees draw out towards the side, we start to bring the soles of the feet up parallel with the ceiling. So you've got that nice 90-degree angle with the legs, drawing those knees down towards the mat. You can either press the hands against the feet or even pressing the feet into the hands. Notice how you feel a little bit of a deeper stretch here. Inhaling and exhaling. Slowly release the feet back through center, bringing the knees into the chest. Guiding both knees over towards the left. Gently finding this twist through the spine. And then slowly bring the knees back through center as you guide them over towards the right. Bringing out through the spine. And then next time bringing them back in through center. And then we'll let the legs go out long. Taking the feet towards the corners of the mat, so a little bit out wide from one another. Let the feet fall apart. As you bring the arms down by the sides, palms facing up. Eyes are closed. Slight tuck of the chin to lengthen out the neck. And then letting go of the breath now. Really letting the benefits of the class settle in and take hold of the body. From here, we'll start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Deepening the breath. Gradually waking the body back up. Slowly bringing some movement back into the body. Even taking your arms up overhead for a full body stretch.
And slowly taking your time, rolling onto your side, bringing your knees into your chest. And in your own time, making your way up to a comfortable seated position. And once you get there, you can close your eyes, bringing the palms together at the chest and take the forehead down towards the fingertips. Namaste.